Here are my top 10 movies of 1995. That's what we're doing today. What? As you know, with these, there are rules. Has to be on IMDb for this year. Also, I have seen every movie from this year, which is how I'm able to make this assessment, and why you are not. While you may think you have the correct list of movies released this year, you're wrong. And you can leave in the comments your top 10 of this year. Not this year, of this year in the movie. 1995. You dumbass. Number 10 is The Indian in the Cupboard. What? Do you even remember that movie? Does anyone even remember that movie? I love toys coming to life, or just little things running around and all that. The sort of ham-fisted pop culture references, unnecessary, but didn't ruin it at all. In fact, seeing a miniature Darth Vader, maybe they shouldn't have called it Indian in the Cupboard. Maybe something else that would last into this new era. It's a kid's movie. I loved it as a kid. It's probably aged poorly, but the special effects are pretty good, especially for shrinking down people. I think Corridor Crew have reacted to its special effects in one of their episodes, and you know, they're pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. It's a family movie. Anyone can watch it. If you have already seen it but have forgotten its existence, like most people, maybe rewatch it and tell me if you hated it or not. Number 9 is Ghost in the Shell. Anime. Ew! I'm not really an anime person. I don't watch any anime shows. I love certain anime movies. This one is pretty cool. In fact, it's very cool. Very cool. This movie's very cool. Very stylized. Very stylistic. Kind of like Akira. I don't know if it's made by the same people or animators. Maybe. I don't know. I know nothing about anime. But what I do know is that this movie slaps. It's got unnecessary nudity, like all anime pretty much. If you can get past that, it's awesome. The themes, the vibes, it's very reminiscent of Blade Runner, the old one, obviously, because the other one came out after. It's in this high-tech sci-fi universe. The cool main character, she is the ghost. No, I don't know. she's jumping off buildings. Doing backflips, blowing up robots that are trying to blow her up. That's my number 9. I actually had more to say about that than I thought without even talking about the movie at all. Number 8, The Usual Suspects. It is an overrated movie. I'm sorry. It's still in my top 10, right? So it's good. It's definitely good. You know, Kevin Spacey, he's good in it. In fact, he's definitely the best bit of the movie. If it wasn't overhyped as like the biggest twist ever and all that shit, I think it's in the movie that makes people hype it, because they go like, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think he's not real or some shit. I'm like, that's not a good trick. But the thing is, it is still a good movie. And like, anyone could probably watch it and enjoy it. It's a crime, police, detective, it's a crime movie. So it's interesting in that sense. Number 7 is Apollo 13, which is not the number 13 on the list. It's the number 7 on the list. Number 7 is not the number 7 on the list, which came out in 95, not 97. This is a year for 95, not 2024. 95 is the year that Apollo 13, is that the, yeah, Apollo, not Apollo 11, right? Shit, now, is it Apollo 11? Isn't that a movie as well? Crap. Okay, it is Apollo 13. I think Apollo 11's a horror movie from like 2014. I don't know. Apollo 13. Cool space movie. About moon landing, of course, Apollo 13, so it's mostly based on true stuff. If you believe in the moon landing, most people these days believe the world's flat and that the moon is a projection. You can still watch this movie believing that, because, you know, it's a movie. It's all made up. It's intense, you know? It's a space movie. You know, they're launching spaceships and they're going to the moon, and got Tom Hanks. He's a good actor, so, you know, it's good. Who doesn't like Tom Hanks? I don't really have too much to say about Apollo 13. It's just better than these other movies I've already talked about. That's why it's at my number 7 spot, which isn't the movie 7, it's Apollo 13. Number 6. It's GoldenEye. It's got one of those classic Sean Bean deaths. Probably one of the best Sean Bean deaths. Pretty good. Not to be confused with Golden Finger or Golden Gun. Isn't that a James Bond movie? This is a James Bond movie. If you don't like James Bond movies, skip it. I actually think it's a really cool James Bond movie. It's got some very cool villains. It's got that Russian girl from X-Men, Famke Jensen. So she's actually really good in it. She like kills people by like wrapping her legs around them. You got the guy that goes, "I am invincible," and then he dies. It's great. Actually, this is interesting. I think a lot of James Bond fans probably don't like a lot of movies, especially in this era. Some people think Pierce Brosnan is cheesy and those movies are cheesy. He looks most like Bond to me of all the ones they've had. He's super smug. He's very cheeky, and that's perfect. Judi Dench as M. I think it was M in these movies. There was a Q as well, but I think she was M. They go from country to country, set piece to set piece, action scene to action scene. GoldenEye. It's up there. It's one of my favorite James Bonds. It's got probably the best of whatever Bond thing you want. Gadget, set piece, explosions. Number 5. This movie is underrated, that's for sure. Rob Roy. I am originally from Scotland, and I feel more Scottish than anything else. It's funny, Liam Neeson, he's Irish, right? His accent's terrible in this, right? But he's still good, and that's when some actors can do accents really well, others cannot do accents at all. Some actors can do really good acting with an accent. Other actors can do really good acting and their accents just either they just are focused so hard on what they're trying to act and the accent just leaves. Everyone's raving about Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, came out this 2024 year, or 2023, might be on IMDb, but whatever. But I actually thought his accent, he like chucks it away while he's acting really hard, which is great. You shouldn't worry too much about the accent if it prohibits you from acting good. And that's where Liam Neeson definitely gets a pass. His acting in this is actually really good. It's one of his better roles. There's a great duel in it. So if you're into medieval movies with fight scenes, you know, it's castles, it's a period piece, medieval. It's not big battles like, you know, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Generally, most people like the fight scene, like as in sword experts who review the fight scene on YouTube. They all pretty much think it's good, and I think it's an underrated movie. So that's it. That's Rob Roy. That was number 5. Number 4, Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's right. It's not the first one. It's the second one. It's all the way up here, number 4. How cool is that? Some people prefer it. I've seen, I don't know who it was. This person made a review raving about it, and I kind of agree. I love the first Die Hard. It's kind of cozy. It's a cozy movie. This movie goes out into the world. We've got Bridges, City, and Bridges. Samuel L. Jackson. Bridges. It's not got this Christmas stigma attached to it either, so you can watch it any time of the year. Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's my number 4. My number 3. It's probably some people's favorite movie, I reckon. It's a kid's movie. It's Toy Story. I keep doing this where I talk about the movie and just don't get to say in the movie. It's Toy Story. It's my number 3. It's a very interesting... Toy Story is a very interesting movie. What's interesting about it is that it's pretty bad CGI, really. But because they're toys, instantly gets a pass. The Uncanny Valley is out the window. Already gone. There are humans in it, but just don't look at them too hard. Or actually close your eyes, because sometimes they're kind of scary. Very evil villains. That's good. You want an evil villain, because you want your characters to be afraid, to overcome them, to beat them and be better. Obviously, I was a kid when it came out, and I have watched it frequently. I don't think it matters actually how old you are at all. Some kids' movies, you have to be a kid to enjoy, but not this one. Who didn't grow up thinking that when they left their room, all the toys came to life? I would leave my room, close the door, step on the spot, wait, slowly open the door, and just look in my room. Because I had toys everywhere. And then I'd think, oh, they've seen me. They stopped. And I'd close the door. I'd do it again. I would do this for hours. I was a psychopath. You'll see this in probably more reviews. Movies affected me so hard when I was a kid. Truman Show made me so paranoid, which that didn't come out this year. It's coming soon. Truman Show, coming soon. Toy Story. It's good. I'm sure you've seen it. That's the other thing. I don't have to say anything about it. If you haven't seen it, and you're like, I'm an adult, I don't watch kids' movies. Watch it. It's good. Number 2 is 12 Monkeys. Not number 12 on the list, of course, because this is a top 10 list, like Polo 13. That would be good. I should have made it a top 13 list and put Polo 13 at 13 and 12 Monkeys at 12 and 7 at 7. Spoilers for number 1, by the way. So we've got 12 Monkeys, 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 7. Now we're at number 1. Number 1 is 7, not number 7. This is 7. Okay, this is why we're doing this shit, okay? Number 7. No, number 1 is 7, spelled Se7N. Se7N is one of the most influential movies of all time. 7's like, what's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
What's in the box? I'm not going to spoil what's in the box, and I probably already spoiled it by even just saying that to some people. It came out a long time ago. Just watch it. Everything is just rotten. It's about the seven deadly sins in Catholicism. Envy, greed, lust, gluttony, wrath, envy. Did I say that already? Lust. It's a crime movie, again, and Kevin Spacey, again. We got him in 2 crime movies in the same year, both very highly rated movies. This one, I think, is not overrated. If you look at anyone's top 100 movies of all time list, it's always there. Directed by David Fincher. Let's say you don't know who he is, but you like 7, or you've maybe seen The Social Network, maybe seen Gone Girl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Alien 3, The Killer, Michael Fassbender. So David Fincher, great director. He's kind of always got this specific style. It's not so specific like Wes Anderson, like Dollhouse look. It's just very meticulous and well put together. The gore in this movie, while not frequent, when it happens, it is sickening. You know, they find this guy who's like face first in his spaghetti, been there for hours or days, and he's all rotten. Everything about 7's great. You have no idea where it's going. I feel like I'm just talking to people who've seen the movie at this point, because really, if you haven't seen the movie, you should have stopped watching as soon as I revealed my number 1, which was actually during my number 2 spot. I've gone thinking about the psychology of this movie over and over and over again. The lines of dialogue are perfect.
I just don't think I can continue to live in a place that embraces and nurtures apathy as if it was a virtue.
The subtext, the foreshadowing, the ending, while you don't expect it, it's right. It's so obvious. If you know what the 7 deadly sins are, you're like, oh, yeah, of course. The opening credit scene, the scrappiness, the textures, it's like photos in the lab of like violent, horrific murder scene. If you haven't seen True Detective, definitely what inspired, I'm sure, some of the cinematography or photography, at least in the opening credits in that show. 7's my number 1 of 95. That's my top 10 of 95. I just want to also just give a shout out to YMS. He's been doing these yearly top 10 lists. He doesn't release them yearly. He should. He's actually probably seen 100 times the amount of movies I have. That being said, I've actually seen all the movies of this year, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I'm right. Leave your list if you want, but it doesn't really matter. No one's going to read it because no one thinks that you're correct. Actually, everyone thinks I'm correct because I've told you this. I've seen them all, okay? I've seen all the movies.